Well, I'm not telling, acting captain. What did... What now? That doesn't frustrate you, does it? My lack of cooperation. That doesn't make you angry.
Are you a member of Starfleet?
Yes. Can I get a towel,
Under
please?
penalty of court-martial, I order you to explain to me how you were able to beam aboard this ship while moving at warp.
Hey everybody, what's up? We're the Movie Guys, and we're gonna bring you a movie that made our nerdiness explode with hotness.
In our pants.
Star Trek. I love this movie. I saw this at an amazing movie theater that I haven't been to in so long, and I about came in my pants watching this movie. It was so great.
And when the opening credits appeared,
I was freaking out.
we actually kind of teared up a little bit.
It started out, it shows Kirk's dad. He's not captain, but he's second in command.
Acting chief.
Yeah, and he's like, and they're in there, they're like riding around, and then all of a sudden, there's a black hole, which is huge ass shit that no one's ever seen before. That big shows up and ends up being Romulans. And then you see Nero, he calls aboard the ship and asks for the captain. So he goes on the ship, and then he makes Kirk like acting captain since he knows he's going to get killed. And then once they find out that he's dead, that the captain's dead, it ends up turning out that Kirk's wife and his baby and his unborn child are on the ship and everyone else. So he ends up like saving like 800 lives and his family, and they end up naming the kid right before he turns all the ships on turbo into the Romulan ship, and he blows up and dies.
Sadly.
Yes, and then it shows later when Kirk's like 8. Kirk's like 8 years old, driving a car, and he stole his stepdad's car.
And he's being a little prick.
Yeah, he drives it off into a canyon, and then the cops catch him. And then it cuts to Spock, 8-year-old Spock, and people are making fun of him since he's half Vulcan and half human.
And he has those ears, and you know.
Yeah, and they make fun of him because he can feel and all that, and then little Spock gets pissed and beats the living shit out of the full Vulcans, and then he ends up getting in trouble. Well, kind of. But then he decides from there on out to throw all his feelings away and become full Vulcan. Yep. And then after that, you shows them as like 18, like the 18, 19 range, and Kirk's in a bar.
The moment where they exchange in sexual orientations.
Yeah, but Kirk's in a bar, and he meets, God, I forgot her name, the black chick's name, I forgot her name, but he meets her in a bar and comes up to her and starts like hitting on her, and then she's like basically dissing him off, but then like she starts saying like some smart stuff from school, but he knows what he's talking about, and she's like, oh, you're not as, I thought you were just a dumb farm boy, and they start hitting it off a little bit, but then some of her school people come up and start messing with, and like saying, are you causing any trouble? And she's like, nothing I can't handle. And then Kirk, of course, is being a smart ass.
Yeah.
And then he's like, you really don't want to start this. This isn't a fair fight. And he's like, well, go grab 2 more guys, then it'll be a fair fight. And then he gets the shit beat out of him again.
Sadly.
This whole movie, he gets his ass beat down
Because of his mouth. But yeah, we don't want to spoil anything else. We're just giving you a little thing.
Well, that's the beginning.
That's the beginning.
And then it turns out you see the acting captain at Enterprise. He comes into the bar and tells him that his dad saved 800 lives and was only captain for like 12 minutes and dares him to do better. So he enlists in Starfleet and ends up like 3 years later being like top of the class, and then but then since he's like an asshole and he cheats at one of Spock's tests once Spock's older and all that, and he's one of the commanders. And so Bones McCoy, his best friend, once he enlists in Starfleet, like later on, sneaks him onto the Enterprise because he's not allowed to be on the Enterprise because he cheated or whatever. So then they meet up with the Romulans again when they're on there because Kirk remembers like what was going on from when his dad was on the ship. So because Vulcan sends out a distress call. And then and Kirk tells them that it's a trap. It's not really like them, like they're in trouble, but not like for the reasons that they thought it was going to be. But basically the movie's about is they try to fight the Romulans because Nero's pissed off at Spock because in the future, his planet ends up getting destroyed. He gets blown up, and Spock said he was going to save his planet, but right before he could save it, Vulcan gets destroyed. I mean, not Vulcan, Nero's planet of the Romulans gets destroyed. So he ends up he goes through a black hole back in time to start killing every single planet of the Federation, starting with the planet Vulcan, Spock's. And so it turns after the acting captain of the Enterprise gets murdered, and then he makes Spock captain, which doesn't turn out good because later on Kirk meets older Spock from the future where the Romulans are from, and says that he has to be captain just for the future to be good. So he ends up having to make Spock pissed off and basically says fuck your mama, your mom's a bitch, you have no feelings, and pisses him off to cloud his judgment. And then he becomes acting captain of the ship because Spock wanted to turn around and group with a bunch of Enterprise ships and go fight the Romulans, but Kirk wanted just to go there and fight. And after he becomes captain, they have this badass, amazing battle at the end of the movie that's 25 minutes long, which is bad fucking ass, and the whole entire movie was just great.
So why don't we talk about the cast?
Ah, yes. Zachary Quinto. Y'all know him, Siler, on Heroes. He plays Spock. And he is amazing in this movie. He kicks all kinds of ass. He kicks Kirk's ass.
Repeatedly.
Beats the fuck out of him because when he starts talking about Vulcan after it gets destroyed. And then there's, of course, Chris Pine. You don't really know him much. I was kind of weirded out when I found out he was going to play it because he played in The Princess Diaries 2. That was one of 2 movies that you really know him in. But he ends up being awesome.
Yeah.
He's awesome.
You also got Carl Urban.
Oh yeah,
Corey.
That's one.
He's spot on.
Yeah, that's one I was freaking out about because I don't like Carl Urban because his movies haven't been really good.
Yeah,
but he surprised me. Him and Scotty and Spock and Sulu all were greatly casted because they had Simon Pegg from Shaun the Dead doing Scotty, who was awesome, the Irish technician. And then there was Sulu. And Sulu, I didn't really like him in the series because he didn't really do anything.
Hello.
But in this, he's a badass swordsman. Him and Kirk end up having to fight people, but he kicks ass in this movie.
Yes, he does.
Overall,
good.
It's an awesome movie. I'm gonna hear shit from people that are the huge Dark Knight fanboys. I liked this better than the Dark Knight. This is the 2009 Dark Knight, but even better.
Yeah,
This movie was amazing. I'd give it, if it was out of 10, I'd give it 15 out of 10.
But since we're only on a 5-star rating, 5 out of 5.
It was awesome, badass. I'm going to see it 2 or 3 more times before it leaves theaters.
And it will not leave theaters soon.
Yeah, so I'm going to be seeing it a lot more, and I'll probably be talking about it in future reviews to come.
Yeah, and if we were on a spill rating, would we give it better than sex?
Yeah, there's spills a lot of people that we respect. And everyone knows the ratings, the rental, matinee, full price, better than sex.
We will get it.
And I would agree it would be better than sex if it was that rating.
Yeah.
This movie, I've had some sex worse than this movie. And this movie kicks all kinds of ass. We're the movie guys.
Peace.